bit different because Corona taught us some things. Corona changed us, changed humanity. By the way, we call it this phenomenon a black swan. A black swan is a phenomenon known in economy that an event, a major event that was not foreseen, was not expected, that happens and has a tremendous effect on the economy. And no doubt that this era will be spoken about for the rest of the days to come, when people would like to describe difficult times, when they would like to discuss when they had to twist, to pivot, to do something different. This is the time of Corona. So Corona is all over us. Over 35 million people worldwide were infected. Sadly, over 1 million dead. Out of the 245 or 47 countries in the world, 213 are infected. And yes, it's here to stay, meaning we would need to learn not to live with the Corona, just to adjust, okay? Just to adjust ourselves to the new way of economy, to the new way of interaction. People are a social animal. We still miss hugging and kissing. And if Corona was here, for, I don't know, 2, 4, 5 years, probably our habits would change. But for now, I think we're the same. But we are learning that we can do many things, or should accustom ourselves to do many things in a digital kind of way. Corona, you can refer to it as the big equalizer. So equalizer, why? Is because during Corona, it doesn't matter if you are rich or poor, if you have your own private jet, or I don't know, you're flying coach. Doesn't matter if you have a Ferrari or you drive a Maruti. It's the same. This is the time when what you have doesn't really work for you. What is your agility, is the fact that you know how to adjust yourself for this new normal, as we call it, okay? And if I now will speak a little bit more, maybe also on the innovation part, on startup, we can, see more what is this change. But Corona also gives us a kind of a big opportunity. A big opportunity because when there is a change, and in this case, a significant change, well, change also offers opportunity. And the big question is, what do we do about it? Do we, sit down at home and say, oh, it's difficult. Oh, I don't know what tomorrow will bring. There's a lot of uncertainty. Everything is foggy. People don't want to speak to me right now. Social distancing and all this. Well, if you say it like this, it really sounds miserable. But if you were to say, wow, so I know all this, but what is the opportunity? How do I search for this opportunity? And by the way, if I do stumble upon this opportunity, what do I do with it? How can I, or how do I translate this misery, this fiasco, okay, this crisis, into something that offers opportunity, into business, into something that will give me something back? We see that since we've mentioned the distancing, well, we know now that everything regarding remote is relevant. Is now that we do remote education, for instance. We know that in some countries, or in many countries, schools are closed, not just for the summer, but they will not open in the beginning of the new year. Not schools, not universities. We know this, but something needs to replace it. So people say, or the government say, or the education ministry say, we will do remote education. Well, I think that having a laptop, an internet connection, a Wi-Fi, and a PowerPoint presentation, that's not remote education. This is not the way to educate. So if you agree with me, you already see a kind of a big opportunity here to say, okay, if this is not remote education, what is it? What can I invent on this feature? Not just to do a better presentation. How about I do a better webinar? Maybe something that will be complementary to Zoom, to Teams, to Hangouts, and to others. How can I teach better? As you know, teachers still struggle even with Zoom. I mean, they can do half a lesson muted and not find the unmute, which is still a struggle. But you see, again, there is an opportunity. We know that testing people for corona is a big issue. Getting medical assistance is a big issue because, again, people cannot come close. Everything needs to be done remote. Telemedicine is now growing very quick. Everything to do with robotics right now is really enhanced because robots can replace people. For what extent? Again, to be seen, to be explored. So now when you get into your mind, well, there's a lot of opportunities, still you need to be able, you need to be capable of translating this opportunity, this idea, into something practical. And again, usually it is not done by a one person. As you know, Israel is considered a startup nation, and it is considered a startup nation not just for the fact that per capita, per million, Israel has the biggest number of startups. By the way, Israel opens about 1,000 new startups each year. Our current ecosystem is 8,500 startups, I'm speaking about the LTDs. But what is more interesting is the fact that Israel's population of 9 million, approximately the size of Bangalore, our high-tech and startup ecosystem, the number of people dealing with high-tech and startups is not 9 million, is not 5 million, is not a million. It's 350,000 people all in all. That's the number. 350,000 people make, for the last several years, exits totaling each year in near $30 billion. By the way, during Corona, where everything came to a halt, to a stop, no one knew where to go, Israeli startups still do exits. Israeli startups still raise money. As a fact, during September, meaning last month, just on a 1 month, this ecosystem of startups raised over $1 billion of funds. Forget about the exits for a second, just raising money. And you know, in India, as it is in many places in the world, how hard, how difficult it is to raise funds. So we made quite well on that. And at the same time, we've done many exits. I think our exits currently this year is over $5 or maybe $6 billion already during a year of Corona. So yes, things are a little bit slower, maybe a little bit difficult, but they are doable. And what I want you to get into your brains, to your minds, to your heads is the fact that if you are good, you will make it. If you are good on your studies, you will make it. If you are good with whatever you will develop, you will make it. Just because there are not that many who are that good. And successful people, well, we draw people. People are drawn in to successful people. So try and be successful. Try to be the best of what you do. And right now, during Corona, since many in the population are despaired, they are not bringing their best. Again, an opportunity for those who are looking to be the best to be the best. So as I was mentioning, the digital, everything around us digitally has now flown forward light years. So we are much into it. We see our parents operate the Zoom. We see kids, I mean, everyone around us using digital, mobile, laptops, computers, but everything is becoming digital. Yet, there is a lot of opportunity in this space, meaning the transition to digital offers a lot of opportunity. As you probably know, most of the world, in many countries, when you speak about business, the small, somewhat also the medium businesses, what we call SMBs, but for sure the small business, are in most cases a bit, let's say, technophobic. And for sure, even if they know technology, they might not be the best content writers. I mean, marketing kind of a content writing. Again, a lot of a great opportunity. So if you're a shoemaker or you sell your merchandise or it doesn't matter. You, before Corona, were not used for the digital. You didn't need it because people came to the market and bought whatever you were selling. Now there are no more markets. Everything is locked down. Malls, markets, it's worldwide like this. And by the way, Israel, who came out, I think, the first from the first wave, about April. We had the lowest number of dead. We were the first to bounce out. See what happens. So we reopened everything and found ourselves a month ago soaring from a few hundreds of people infected to thousands. We came near 10,000 infected a day just 2 weeks ago. Everything came back. Government decided second lockdown. Now we've been under this lockdown almost for 3 weeks. End of like tomorrow, it's like 3 weeks we are under lockdown. Of course, numbers are down. From 10,000, we have now reached 2,000. And from Sunday, we will start little by little to reopen. But during this time of 8, 9 months, maybe 10 months already, that we are closed, those who did not pivot, did not twist, did not adjust to this new normal that I, as myself, was speaking about it over and over again. I think this is my 4th or 5th lecture in India, but I've done over 30 of those in 16 countries so far, just sharing what I see from other countries. So yes, the digital era, the digital time that we are now offers a lot of opportunity. On the other side, since we are under lockdown, we have also taught ourselves, first of all, we know how to work from home. By the way, in the beginning, it was fun. We didn't have to go to office. But then when you have your family and kids around you, maybe it's less fun. So very quickly, some of the workers said, hey, we want to go back to office. What we know now that even Microsoft and Twitter said, no more office. I mean, we're going to stick to being like this permanent. Again, something new that we will need to adjust. Not 100% we will adjust, by the way, because we are more used to waking up in the morning and driving to office. All of a sudden, all I need to do is open my door and I'm in my office. Again, a change that we are now testing. This change offers opportunity. It offers opportunity. How do I work from home? How do I adjust my office? How do I adjust my family? What kind of behavior needs to be taught? All these are a lot of opportunity that needs to give you guys, because you're the next generation, okay? You now need to contemplate and say, wow. So if I learn behavioral studies, or I'm into technology, I'm into management, I'm into psychology, wow, I have so many opportunities to think and bring something from myself, either a kind of a method, or either a kind of a technology, or maybe even both. So we also learn how to, I hope, get remote education. How do we learn from home? We learn how to meet from home. We are now Zooming. I mean, my kids from second floor, they don't call me, they don't shout, they say, hey, Dad, get on Zoom and let's talk. People, I forgot how is it to speak on the phone. People don't speak to me. They immediately Zoom. Let's talk tomorrow, whoop, Zoom invite. Why? It's because the video, still people need to interact. It's now because we don't meet face to face. The one thing after is at least let's video. Again, an opportunity. because now we're accumulating tons of video hours upon hours. Did you try and listen? And so you're invited to a lecture, and for some reason you missed it, and then you say, no, I will look after. I will watch it after. You never watch it. You never watch it because you don't have time. Well, now you have all the time in the world. You're sitting at home. You have the time. So why is it? It's because we are very much accustomed to, I don't know, TikTok maybe. Few seconds, like 15, 10 seconds, 30 seconds is like the most we can endure. Who will watch a 1 hour lecture? Except for if it's mine. Mine, everyone sees. But otherwise, we don't watch. Again, an opportunity. If we can shorten, we can make teasers for every lecture, maybe people will watch more. Maybe the speakers will find a kind of a monetization tool where they give a lecture like I give now, receive a kind of a half a minute, 2 minutes teaser, post that on their social networks, and people will like then maybe to look more, to get more engaged. So again, an opportunity. Hey people, right now we're doing birthdays on Zoom. We do weddings on Zoom. We practice. We do dumbbells and we do HIIT and we do cardio using Zoom. There is a shift and it's very visible. And what is more visible since Corona is here is this will hook us. This will be, or it is already, as I say, the new normal. But again, I'm not here to give you a human behavior lecture, but I think that it is now safe to say that we are already living the day after. This is how our lives is going to be. Now we're speaking about being a little bit hybrid. So we're going to sit at home, okay, for, I don't know, 3 days and then go to office 2 days, a kind of a hybrid. Everything is done hybrid. Let's have a conference hybrid. I don't know, 20 people can visit the conference itself, the rest from here. Another thing that happened is that we learned or we taught ourselves how to live in a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unclarity, financially, socially, unemployment, a lot of fears of what will happen. Will I have a job? Can I keep my job? Will my company stay alive? Forget my job. I need the company to stay alive, to be operational, for me to have a job. What is my part? What am I contributing from myself to make sure I will have a job? How do I improve myself? How do I teach myself new things? Maybe it's a great time for me to do a kind of a shift. Maybe it's a great time for me to dust off LinkedIn and make sure my CV is updated, because right now I need to be prepared for everything. Now, if you have startups, and I hope some of you in the audience, you have startups or you are, part of a startup, I hope, okay, that you now see that we as startuppers, we are very accustomed to living in this kind of a situation of unclarity, of fogginess, of having everything difficult. It's difficult to raise the funds. It's difficult to persuade people to buy our product. It's very difficult to implement it with the new adapter. It's very difficult to do the negotiation to get paid. All this is very difficult. Well, I don't know if you take comfort in this, but as a fact, this is how the rest of the world feels right now. It's like we startuppers say to the world, welcome to startup life. And this is where we at. So if we can, let me just have a quick look. If we're having some questions, if we have some questions, Sagar, you can stop me again. If not, I can continue on.
Uh, we have one question coming in.
Please
So question is that
go ahead.
yeah. So as you are an accelerator guru, keynote speaker, professional moderator, startup ecosystem builder, so how do you do all that you do? So it's a kind of a loopy question, but the audience would love to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you for the question. So the question is, how do I do so much? I'll tell
Yes.
you. I'll tell you. For me, as I push my startups to do the same, it's more about the doing than the asking how I do. People have this tendency to say, I will do it later. If you're students, you know exactly what I mean. You get an assignment, you know the assignment is due within 2 months. And for the coming 2 months, you're going to say, hey, I need to do until the weekend before the assignment is due. This is when you do it. This is how we are as people. Everyone is the same. By the way, I'm not different. But what I try to do is really do more, contemplate less on how and when and what, just do. And then very quickly, when you continue on the doing, you stop for a minute, you get on a call like this, and then you get the question and you think back and you say, wow, I've done so much. Again, you need to understand to yourselves is that if you speak in a persuasive way, if you know your business, if you believe in what you do, and you have a target. I mean, you can fuel your car and start driving, but if you don't have a destination, you will reach nowhere. You will stop the minute the fuel is out, but you will reach nowhere. Again, some people are like this. Some people say, I go with the flow. I don't care. Even if I stop, I have reached somewhere. It's not like I've not reached anything. I say it's a waste of time. I say you need to have your targets right. And I think part of having your targets right is to discuss them, is to turn to people with experience, with knowledge, probably your professors, probably people that you know who are older, have more experience, which is relevant, of course, and discuss it. But come with a plan. Be the one to lead. Don't, I mean, it's okay to be led sometime, but try to be leaders. Try and putting the bar high, not highest, high enough for you to reach it, and try and make it higher and higher as you go. So for me, I think I'm in a way, I'm pushing myself for other reasons, or for some of the reasons I mentioned. And I will let you know, I'm a person like you. First of all, I have my family. I have my mother. My mother is, although I'm 50 years old, my mother will continue on pushing me to the end of time. It's never enough. Do more, do more, do more. You want to rest? Rest when you die. Now you're alive. Make everything you can to make a difference. A difference, first of all, for yourself. You need to put yourselves in the middle. You need to think for yourselves. When I come to class, when I make friends, when I make an assignment, when I reach out, because probably some of you will be calling me after, you need to have a target, not just to say, hey, Mr. Tal, how you doing? Listen, it was very impressive. I'm saying it already. Thank you for the compliment, which is very important. Practically, what do you want? Well, I think, no. What do you want? Have a target, and then we can have a discussion about it. Second, don't put so much power into someone's hands. Power on yourself, power on your destination. You should be in control. So it's not like you ask me or others life and death decisions. So, Mr. Tal, I have this idea. I want to know, what do you think about it? I will not be the one to say if it's the best or the worst, or is to live or to die. It's not my role. My role is to, as a professional, is to say, you want to discuss the business model? Let's go. You want to discuss competition? Let's go. You want to discuss market survey or target market? Let's speak about it, but not die or leave. Okay? This is when, again, you need to be the leaders. You need to put yourself targets. And again, those targets need to be achievable. Not tell me, yes, well, I have this target to fly to the moon. Guys, we are not flying to the moon. None of us is flying to the moon. Don't even put it there. It's impossible. I'm going to stop the sun from shining in the east. Not doable. What is doable? Maybe giving others tools how to think to build a spaceship, how to bring space technology. You yourself, you can motivate by example. You can say, hey, I've done this much. How about you try and do similar? Not same, not copy, but the way that fits you. And again, in the end, and I'm speaking about startups now, it's all about delivery. People are wrong to say that when you say startup, they think technology. No, startup is people. Before anything is people, it's you. Because people are the one that innovate, that develop, that program, that manufacture. People, investors, VCs, angels, are people that invest in startups. Users are people that use the technology that you have developed. Now think to yourself, one day you're standing in line, two people in front of you discussing and saying, wow, you know what? You should download this app. It does amazing things. And you say, oh, they mentioned my app. Excuse me, I am the developer of the app. And they say, wow, you've done a great job. Well, with this energy, you can run from, I don't know, Mumbai to Chennai and back because you got so much energy. So this is what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that when you are doing something, when you are in the center of doing things, you are very much on the micro. You can't see the entire picture. You don't see all the parts of the puzzle because you see just the one part that you're dealing with. But once you're done, and once someone next to you says, hey, let's stop for a second, let's go higher, 80,000 feet up in the air to the macro, and look down, and you see the entire puzzle, you say, hey, there's an image there. There is success. There are customers. There are users. There is money. There is everything in this picture. But at a certain period of time, which is right now, it is very difficult to see all this. This is why you need to be in a program like this. This is why you need to have yourself a mentor. By the way, startups, many kind of resemblance, are like babies, meaning they grow, and in each and every minute or every period in their lives, they need someone else, like a baby. In the beginning, he needs his mother. Then he goes to the kindergarten. Then he needs his teacher. Then he needs his doctor, professor. Then in Israel, you go to the army. So you have your commander. Then you get married and your wife tells you what to do. So in each and every part of your life, there is someone else that you need to walk with you. Same as a startup. You don't stick with one mentor to the rest of your life. You need him for a period of time. Okay? So again, be very aware. Be very aware of yourselves. When you wake up tomorrow morning after this lecture, have yourself a cause. Know not why you woke up. This is biology. You woke up. By the way, some people today didn't wake up and will never wake up again. You woke up, you took the initiative, and you joined us. Again, shows character, shows something about you. Because other people who knew about this lecture did not join. And they're living their happy life, thinking, well, I did not miss anything, or even forgot about it. I'm saying to you right now that you are different. And if you are different and this makes sense to you, please go ahead and share it. So you woke up this morning and you got out of bed and you did your usual, your bath, you showered, you ate something, drank your coffee, and first of all, if you don't have a target right now, when you raise your eyes and you see on the wall, this is why I woke up. So this is my cause. This is my target for today. And by the way, any target is okay. Even to come back home safe is a good target if you feel it. I would say I would expect more of you. But know that when you leave home, when you get on a webinar, on a Zoom, when you meet people, when you do your job, your studies, when you're getting prepared for the assignment, for your exam or whatever, have a clear a one target. As I said to the startups, you need to have a one problem to solve and a one solution solving this problem. not more than one. You're a startup. You're lean and mean. You don't have any resources. You're poor. For sure, don't have the money to invest. Maybe sometimes you say, I don't have the time. I'm saying make time. Time is something we need to understand right now. Time equals money. And when I say equal, you need to produce it. Money doesn't fall to your lap. You make it. You work for it. You invest time and effort to make money. Again, look at time at the same way. You need to make time. This is what you get an answer. I don't have that. So make time. This is what I'm saying to you. And make time, well, it's like practicing. In the beginning, you take a 1 kg and then a 2 kg and a 4 and a 5 and an 8 and a 10. And the more you practice, the more you can lift. But if I were to tell you this like a year back, that you will be lifting 10 kgs easy each hand, you would say, well, I can think but there is no way I'm going to do it. Meaning, I understand there is time and effort to be invested. I'm not going to do it probably. But if you say to yourself, well, heck, I will try. And you do 1 day, 2 day, week, month, half a year. After 1 year, when you're holding the 10 kg and you look back and you try to remember where you started, you'll be shocked. You'll say, wow, a year gone by and I'm doing this, and you will love it. And you love yourself for this. And again, the 10 kg was the target. Okay? Losing weight was a target. The fact that we are all potato couch right now, and you wake up in the morning, hopefully you take a shower, you're left with the same clothes because you're not meeting anyone. What should you care? And by the way, why is none of you already inventing the augmented reality that will allow me to change shirt, be with the same one, but change the shirt, and I will be wearing different one every 10 seconds if I can? It's a thought. Use it. So what I'm saying is, don't get yourself accustomed to this. And I know we left the innovation right now when we're speaking about the day-to-day, but the day-to-day is part of the way to reach success. It's part of the way of being an innovator. Yes, you need to have a frame. Like you're looking right now at Zoom. You see, I'm in a frame. That's me. That's you. And by the way, since we don't meet people and you will meet me one day, probably some of you will say, hey, he's very short. Others say he's very tall. I'm short. This is fine. So what I'm saying is get accustomed to the reality of now. Know that you need to practice. Know that you need to eat, but don't eat too much. Don't get fat. Exercise. Get yourself into a schedule. Put a schedule on the wall. Put your target, put your KPIs on the wall. I mean, there's a wall. Why is the wall there? Staying white? No. Put something on it. Understand that you need to have a target. Understand that when you have a target and you have a route to walk in, probably, not even if you think I'll reach success, but you will reach somewhere along the way. And when this is right, you will now turn from children to adults. Because when I ask my 9-year-old, how was school? She says, fine. How was the party? Fine. How was meeting your friends? Fine. With her, everything is fine. Why? No expectations. No expectations, so it's fine. I did not have anything to expect. And the fact I came back home alive is fine. It's good enough. But you're adults. You're in an age that when you were young, asked you, what you going to be when you grow up? You're grown up. You need to know what you are. And you need to know that this is where you're going. I hope this is clear enough. Do we have more questions?
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Tal. That was indeed motivating. Uh, I have opened up Q&A session for the audience. I can see a few questions coming in.
Okay.
So, yeah, there is one more question saying, what was the motivation? I mean, what was your motivation behind building these many startup accelerators and ecosystem? So
Okay.
we would like to understand that from you.
My personal motivation was, first of all,
Yes.
I enjoyed it very much. It's like it's my passion. Business, of course, making money, and I hope we are all on the same agenda. Everyone wants to be rich. I'm not different, and I hope you also see that as a good enough target to be rich, to do business. And I think that little by little, the more you become a professional and the more feedback that you get that you're doing it really well, the fact that through doing these kind of programs I got the chance of touching people on a personal level, of changing their lives. I go up to here. I mean, changing someone, like, I mean, one thing is to, affect someone, is to influence someone on a like a small dot. When someone says to you, I have pivoted my life, I took a new course in life because I spoke to you and you gave me motivation and inspiration. You believed in me. You gave me the tools to do it. Um, in many countries in the world, it is still traditional in the education system to teach by memorizing over and over again. You memorize. I think a bit different. I think that memorizing is old school. New school is giving tools. It's because right now, when you held, I don't know, 10 years back, Angry Birds, there was no user manual how to use it. Today, when you play Fortnite or, I don't know, whatever game that you play, you don't look for the directions, for the instructions how to use it. You use it. You learn by using it. And when you know all the rules, this is when it gets boring and you say, I need a new game. Again, very different. If you wanted to play basketball without knowing the rules of playing basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever you play, without knowing the rules, you cannot step into court because you know the rules of the game. Today, it's different. Today, you don't need to know the rules. The rules don't matter so much. It's your capabilities that matter. The fact that you can operate it quickly, the fact that you can react quickly. That's a major difference. And this is why, right now, since we are much more into the trial and error, is the fact that I believe that what students should get is the toolbox, the tools, not to get the fish, to get the rod, to understand now that they know how to operate and then come with the answer. So for me, it doesn't really matter if you will like to, in a split of a second, answer, I don't know, who was Thomas Edison. But the fact that you will say, give me 1 second, you Google it and for me is good enough. This is what I'm trying to say. So my motivation was to take something I'm good at and make myself the best, to become a guru, to become someone who teaches others, someone who not just affects them, but really gives a major change with a lot of responsibility, with a lot of support. And again, I always say regarding startups is not for everyone. Not everyone is born to be a startupper, but I believe that everyone, okay, should get the chance to do it. I really strongly recommend you to live some of your life as a startupper, because it will make you, I think, creative, independent, agile, out of the box thinker, responsible, a people's person. Again, if you are the, let's say, the visionary, the person who, the CEO usually, not the technical person, not the techie guy. He, he is very bounded by technology. I'm speaking about the innovators, the people who usually come with the ideas. Not to say that tech people don't have great ideas, they do, but they are very capable to do the technology. Where the other kind of people, they are more of the marketing guys, they are more of the fundraising people. Okay, only these two make a startup. One is not enough. Okay, any more questions?
Thank you, Mr. Tal. That was indeed quite inspirational. I can relate with the fact where you mentioned that education these days is not about teaching them some textbooks, but to give them a tools to learn. So that I personally relate with that.
Okay.
I would like to go on with the last question we have. So the question is, what was that paradigm shift in the Israel, which led to such a rich ecosystem,
Hmm.
a startup ecosystem or an innovation ecosystem?
Good question. So, as I said, we are called the startup nation. And if you ask me, this comes from what I call sense of urgency. Israel is 73 years old. That's it. Okay. I'm saying that's it. India is 1 year older. But this is it. And from the beginning of our nation, we were surrounded, and we still are surrounded. But now you see pieces coming to our region. But we needed support. Israel was sea on the west, then surrounded from all sides by other nations, Arab nations, and we had a lot of sand dunes, and we have the Dead Sea, as we call it, the lowest point on Earth, which has a lot of salts and minerals, and that's it. But Israel has this huge resource called brain power. So early at the time, we knew we needed help, and we turned to several countries asking for help. Actually, I think we turned to the world saying, help us. And some countries said, yes, we're going to help you. But when we really needed them, they were unable to help, regardless of the reason right now, being political, of course. They didn't want to help us. Israel, we as Israelis, learned in a very early stage that we need to be self sufficient and self reliant. We need to develop for ourselves whatever we need. We cannot rely on anyone. Little did you think that whatever we develop for ourselves will be needed by the rest of the world. But right now, we were the first to lead on irrigation. We are the ones who invented the flash drive. We did the Google Correct. We are the ones who made Waze, okay? Mobileye, most of the chips for Intel from Israel, invented here. So many things were invented in Israel for our own use, being independent, being self-sufficient. And then we sold it to the world because all of a sudden people say, hey, we need it also. And we sold it to them. So this sense of relying on yourself made us innovators. It made us innovators. And it made us, I don't know if it's like we were forced to be like this. This became a culture. In Israel, every second person you meet on the street, if not the first person you meet on the street, has a startup in his family. A daughter, a son, a brother, a father, a mother. Someone in the family has a relationship to startups. So much so that people on their business cards have the word startupper. It's a kind of a profession in Israel. And when the Jewish mother wanted her son and daughter to become doctors and lawyers, now the mother wants them to have a startup, to make an exit. Okay? So this is really a great pusher, alongside with the fact, as said, our secret weapon is what we call the Jewish mother. By the way, Jewish mother doesn't mean that he needs to be Jewish, but a kind of a mother that is relentless, that doesn't leave you, that pushes you all the time to to get the best out of yourself, and a very supportive ecosystem. So we have the investors inside, the VCs, the angels, the banks are supporting, the CVCs, the corporate VCs. All that money is here. Although we raise money from worldwide, we have the mentors, we have the business people, and I think we are very much aligned to be the best, to lead, and I think lead by example. So kids like mine, for instance, are born into seeing and hearing startups all around them, so much so that my 9-year-old has a startup already. My 12, almost 13-year-old boy is learning to program cyber. It's because we teach cyber from age 9. And my eldest, who is 14, is already learning Arabic because we are in the region. But starting to learn Chinese. It's because we are getting ready for what's to come. So I think all this together is just to show that when it's done on a national level, when this is part of your culture, to be a good learner, to be very educated. Israel is, I think, second in the world for education. Is because we to have a first degree is like to have a bachelor degree is like obvious. It's like graduating school in Israel. But to have an MA and a third degree is something that we push for. So all this together puts us where we are.
Wow, that was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
For the audience who have more questions, they can reach out to us offline on LinkedIn. And to our guest speaker, innovator Mr. Tal, for his time, we thank you. And
Okay.
we thank you for sharing the value added takeaways from
So
your
maybe
innovation journey.
just a final summary. I would like to ask, would you like me
Yeah.
to share some of my social networks here on the chat for people to reach out? Is it okay?
Yes, yes, you can share them. That would be
Okay,
great
so
for
I will
audience.
share it on the chat, and people are welcome again to reach out to me and to connect. Easier will be LinkedIn, but you can of course see the rest. You can also visit my website and read more about what I do, and I will give you my closing summary for this. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like this. Okay, my details are here. So what I want to say, what I want to leave you with is the following. First of all, stay optimistic. Indians smile a lot. Keep on smiling. Keep on smiling, because just know that others have it more difficult. Always know for yourself that what you see from the outside is in 100% different with what's going on inside. Don't be judgmental. Judge yourself, but not, again, not too much. Stay optimistic. Stay smiling. Second, keep on daring. Keep on trying new things, especially now. Try to, in a way, invent yourself new. Adapt yourself to the technology. Adapt yourself to the current status, which is here to stay. We are, again, living in an era that was not seen before ever in humanity, and you are here. You will be the one being resilient coming out of it to tell others for the rest of your lives how was your history and what make you resilient to come out of it successful. Even if just to say come out alive, finish, graduate your studies is good enough. If you have a startup, the fact that you will show your investors that you got this through this desert, this hardship, this hell that we are living right now, and you came out with your startup still breathing, alive, it shows character. It shows that you know to run your business. It shows that you are resilient. So have also already considered the fact when you reach out to investors and say, I started before Corona, I survived Corona, and I'm pushing on, says good things about you. More so, if during Corona you came up with an idea, you pushed it into a startup, you made a business out of it, and you're successful, kudos to you. I think it shows character. Do it. I think that knowing to adjust your resources, which is not too much. I know resources are very low right now, but know how to move them about. Know how to keep your customers. If you have customers, you need to keep them. Maybe you're too young because you're a student, but for now, if you will maybe reaching out and maybe you will share this speech with your friends in your, I don't know, group, and you tell them, or you want to share the link for the YouTube in the end and say, hey, you need to listen to this guy. Because if you have a business and you know how to hang on to your customers right now with all the hardship, it says something about you. And I think that people, once they put their heads into something, in most cases, they know how to be successful. I think it's a good time to try new jobs, as I've mentioned. I think you need to set yourself a kind of a personal strategy. If you have a business, then you need a business strategy. But even for yourselves, you need to have some kind of a strategy. You need to, as I said, dust off the LinkedIn and your CVs and get ready for whatever is coming. Stay in touch with your business. The fact that you are an employee of a company, don't say it's their problem. pay me unemployment and call me when you're ready. Is for you now to pick up the phone to your manager and says, hi, I know things are difficult. By the way, I read and I know everything is going against us, but I have an idea. They will love you for this. They will endure you. They will say now, well, we need to cut on manpower, but this person, she or he, we need him with us. He was with us in the difficult time. We are not saying goodbye to him. We want him with us. Lower your expenses in any way you can. And again, I want to thank everyone. Actually, I want to thank you, first of all, my audience, for listening. Sagar, thank you for the moderation. Enjoyed you very much. Mrs. Priya, thank you for inviting me. MIT ID Innovation Program, all the best to you all. And I have a good sense that we will be keeping in touch. So namaste, everyone. Enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. Shalom from Israel.
Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Tal. Thank you for sharing such precious takeaways. Uh, so this curated series will be featured a variety of industry thought leaders who are part of the global MIT ID innovation ecosystem. We encourage you to connect with us via our social channels to know more about MIT ID innovation program and upcoming engagements and online courses. For those who are interested in becoming top-notch innovators, we invite you to explore our courses that will fast track your career path. So log on to www.mitidinnovation.com to kickstart your innovation journey with MIT ID Innovation Program. Let's learn, let's innovate, and lead. Yours innovatively, Sagar Katwa signing off. To everyone, stay connected, stay safe, and keep innovating every day.